All right, guys. What's going on? Welcome to another episode of Fire Builders Live. My name is Josh Corvo. I am streaming live from Key West, Florida, as always. And today, let me tell you, we have a very, very cool episode. Chris Stafford is on the line. Chris, welcome to Fire Builders Live, my man.
Hey, thanks so much, Josh. I really appreciate it. And Josh, I have to tell you, this is so special for me that I wore cologne for you.
You wore cologne? Oh my God. That's how you know you've made it in the big time, folks, is that your guests for virtual Zoom calls and Facebook Lives, they're wearing cologne. I love it. Thank you, Chris. I'm honored, my man. This is great. And so before we get into today's topic, let me explain to the people listening at home or the office or wherever they are a little bit about what we do here at Fire Builders Live. The premise of this show is very simple. We bring on big experts. We talk about these gigantic goals and how to break them down into small steps, things that you can do every day to succeed. And today is no different. In fact, this one is one of the most important episodes that we've got because it is all about how to achieve greatness, how to stay consistent with the kinds of things that you are doing. And let me tell you a little bit about what Chris Stafford has done. He is one of the top producing real estate brokers in the San Francisco area, and that is by no accident. The man simply is consistent. He's likable. He inspires people. He brings enthusiasm to his work, and he has the ability to not only have this infectious sort of enthusiasm of the people around him, but that also makes him a fantastic teacher and coach. And that is something, right, that can be taught in people and needs to be. And he doesn't do that just because he was sort of born this way. It's through consistency. It's through continuously working on himself. And I mean, over 10 years ago now, Chris, you've been doing this for about 10 years, a little over 10 years, advising listing agents, both young and old, right, whether they're experienced or not, right, but cutting through the crap and showing them what they need now to build and maintain the business of their dreams in the real estate world, helping people with tactics and strategies rooted in one single idea, being consistent, doing something every single day. That is why I'm so happy to have you on the show, man. Again, welcome to Fire Builders Live. And can you hear me? Oh God, I think we might have lost you, Chris. Too bad, too. That was one hell of an introduction. Let's see. Well, the wonderful things about going live. Let me text Chris, make sure that he is still alive. Let's see here. There we go. Something happened. He's on his phone. We might have to postpone. I don't know. You never know when you're doing this live with people. But so it's just me. So let's do this. What do I know about being consistent? Well, before we actually go into it, in fact, let me just text old Chris on the cell phone here, make sure that he's still available. Chris, we're on live with the entire nation, and you have frozen. I'm not sure where you are, but you've just left. So come back and join us when you can. So what do I know about being consistent? Well, honestly, I do know that in order to achieve something great, you really do need to be as consistent as possible. And that doing one thing every single day is the easiest way to just break it up into small steps, right? And avoid the crazy troughs, like the dips and troughs that most people experience when they try to tackle something big. Looks like Chris is again back on the line. Chris, can you hear me? I think
I can hear you. Can you see me and hear?
Yes, but it is super choppy. It's great. But can you hear me now? How's that? Maybe let's see.
I can
connection.
Hear me okay?
Yeah, there we go. All right. So we're back. I have no idea how much of the introduction that you heard about what I was talking about. Did you hear anything, or should I do it again?
No, I heard the introduction.
Oh man, I'll tell you what, Chris.
Okay.
I'll tell you what. I don't know if this is going to work. I can't hear you at all anymore. You are 100% frozen, my man. Oh, let's see. So our first crazy technical glitch on Fire Builders Live. Don't worry, it happens. We'll get over it. I tell you what, Chris. Why don't you pause and maybe try and come back one more time? I'm not sure if you can connect to some type of Wi-Fi or something of the like. But here, in the meantime, while we do this, honestly, let me talk about being consistent. That's what I've learned anyway. Whenever you're going to try to do something and tackle some big goal, the best way, the only way that I have ever learned how to do something like that is to break it up into small steps and try to achieve something small every single day. So while we wait for Chris, and while he kind of gets online again, the thing that I'd actually like to say about Chris, and I might as well say it now, is that the one thing that I've really appreciated about Chris, and I've known him now for a couple of years, and what I've seen is how caring he is with the people that he coaches. It is not just a relationship where, you kind of hop on the phone, with somebody, and then all of a sudden it's like, hey, I'll check up with you in another 2 weeks. We'll just sort of, let you do your thing. No, Chris actually follows up with people. He is there for them. I mean, he's almost like a family member, to be honest. And I'm so appreciative of his support, because I don't know how much you guys ever know about what I do as far as the software side of things, but I've created a software called Fire Builders, and it's all about scaling accountability. It allows you to keep in touch with all of your clients and all of your people on a daily basis. And he has always been a very early adopter and supporter of that software, and I'm so appreciative of that. I honestly, I really am. Oh, Chris is texting me. Let's see what the hell he has to say. Chris, I don't know if you see this on Facebook or not, but interestingly enough, how meta is it that I'm texting you and you're watching this right now? You can hear me, hear you, hear me talk to you. So basically, maybe try and connect one more time. And if that doesn't work, we will pick this up some other time. So let me know if that works.
Hello.
Round 3.
I am on my computer, so I'm hoping this works.
This is definitely way, way better. Way better.
I am so sorry about that. I heard the intro and everything.
No worries, man. In fact, I'm glad you heard the intro. I was honestly just talking to everybody out there about how much I appreciate all of your support with all of the Fire Builder stuff and connecting with people and holding your folks accountable. I'm just so in awe with how you've gone above and beyond as a coach, right, to stay in your clients' lives. Mm-hmm. And that's something that, to be honest, like not a lot of coaches do.
Yeah, no, I think that's really important. And one of the questions that you asked me, up front was, what's the most important thing that I think people can do, with whether you're a coach or an entrepreneur or a real estate agent. And that is, I think it's developing a really super strong routine. And that's like the number one thing that I think is so important, because John Maxwell, who's a really great coach, he's been around forever and ever, and he always says, never change your life until you change something that you do daily. And I really truly believe this, that the secret of any success is really sort of found in your daily routine. And so if there's one thing that I think that we all have to do, which I think is so critically important, and it's probably the one thing that, as a real estate coach, like you mentioned earlier, I've been coaching for over 10 years right now. I've been a real estate agent in San Francisco for over 25 years. And as an entrepreneur and talking to other entrepreneurs, I can tell you that the biggest thing that I have a hard time with trying to get people to do, including myself, I mean, I think it's a strong statement, is that you really have to develop routines that are going to really take you to the places that you want to be. And, I always talk about consistency, but routines, developing especially a strong morning, Josh, you and I have talked about that, is just really super key.
Well, I'm curious, right? Like, because I know you have a morning routine, and is it one of those things where like you got the morning routine out of a book, you applied it, and you said, this works, or is it something that kind of like came together little by little over time?
Little by little over time. I think that it's, like anything, relationships with other people and especially relationships with yourself, it's really organic in nature. You really have to sort of develop what's going to work for you. And, like I'm working with one guy right now on the East Coast, and, this guy is making millions of dollars. He's a top producing real estate agent. I mean, he is just killing it in his marketplace. And do you know one of the things that we're working on, the most important thing, is we're trying to juggle his children, his wife, his workout, his spiritual time, all before 9 a.m. I've been working for a month trying to develop this guy's routine for him. And
wait, what time does he get up in the morning?
Well, therein lies the problem.
8:30.
Yeah, 8:30. He wants to be, at work at 9 o'clock. And so, me, I get up at 4 a.m. every morning. But again, that's because naturally I get up early in the morning. So trying to bring this thing in for a landing. I think the most important thing is really organically work with yourself. What works for you? What time can you get up in the morning? What kind of breakfast can you eat? What's your spiritual practice? What's your workout practice? And what can you do first thing in the morning that's really going to work for you? And then really hone it, really refine it.
Yeah, because it's in that, like, it's in the sense of being consistent that you find that refining of your routine, right? Kind of what works and and how do you, personally, like, how do you keep yourself consistent doing that? I mean, do you find that just comes easy to you?
It comes easy to me when I'm healthy.
Yeah.
And I think that that's really the most important thing that Lord knows, this took me a long time. I have given up so many things in my life, Josh. I've run out of things to give up. I've given up cigarettes. I've given up alcohol. I've given up, all kinds of crazy things. When you are healthy and when you are eating the right foods, I'm pretty much a vegetarian. When I'm having a good night that night and I'm doing everything that I should be doing, it's a lot easier to wake up when you're feeling good. When you go, and I'm not knocking anybody that eats meat or drinks, some wine or whatever. But for me personally, I'll have 2 glasses of wine at night and I'll just, I wake up the next morning, I'm just like, meh, I don't really feel like doing anything. But, naturally, if I can keep myself healthy on that track, then I wake up in the morning and I can pretty much knock everything out that I want to do. So I think that, really paying attention to your health, and I can have a whole nother another conversation about conscious living, but a lot of that's what it deals with is, being conscious of what you're doing and how you're living.
And what's so cool about the coaching that you do and the advisement, especially in the real estate game, is that, when you hop on the phone with somebody, you gotta be energetic. Like you have to dictate, I feel, the feeling of the phone call, right? Yeah. And without feeling good, man, you're screwed. You're like dead in the water before you even have said a word.
Absolutely, yeah. No, I think that's a good point. I personally, again, naturally, organically, I love helping people. So my big passion in life, at the tender age of 60 years old, I figured out that what is really going to, my biggest, highest power is really just helping other people, especially real estate agents and entrepreneurs. And, for me, even if I'm sound like I'm contradicting myself, but even if I, on one side am not feeling that well, when I do jump on the phone with somebody, I just get an energy from these people. And, doing these calls, the calls you and I have, which are just so, rewarding to me, talking to people on the phone, I can live off that for like days, because when I see that I've said something that really is important to somebody, or it makes a difference in what they're doing in their production or how they're living their lives, I mean, that just makes me, like I said, I can live on that stuff forever.
Yeah, it's a high, right? Like you get off, you get off that call and you're just buzzing for the next couple of days.
Exactly. Yep.
And it's so crazy because I was telling everybody sort of before you got hopped on with the computer that I'm so appreciative of the support with fire builders like you, and what we've tried to do, and you've seen the people that are using it you can see the things that they're doing every single day. And I would imagine as a coach, like just knowing that you're having that kind of effect on people is just ridiculously fulfilling.
Well, it's ridiculously fulfilling to me for a couple of reasons. Number one is I think that Fire Builders is probably, the greatest tool. I can blow some sunshine your way. The greatest tool that I have discovered to really help my tribe, because for a couple of reasons. One is it's consistent. That they're doing every single day, and consistency, as we've talked about, is the key for everything. The other thing too is going back to what I was talking about, being organic. These people, the people that are in the tribe, these are the people that are setting their own goals, and they're using the system in their own particular way that they think is going to work for them. So it's not like I'm imposing all this crap on them. They're the ones coming up with them. And then Fire Builders is just the greatest tool because it's taking their self-imposed goals and then consistently giving them feedback and keeping in front of them all the time. Because I personally, as much as I love trying to be accountable to getting these people to be accountable to me, it's really difficult. And it's difficult from the standpoint that people, I ask a woman right now from Idaho, would you please do me a favor? And after you've done what you told me you were going to do every single morning, shoot me a text and just say yes or no. That's all I want you to do.
Yeah.
He does it 20% of the time. And it's like, okay, so I think just behaviorally, it's really difficult for some people to really have to positively reach out to somebody. But with Fire Builders, it's sort of built into what they did. So I love it. It's great.
Well, thanks, man. I really appreciate that. And I'm curious, like, as you go through, and, you're dealing with the psychology and the personalities of a whole bunch of different people. Maybe they all want to be real estate agents, but everybody's got their own problems and their own baggage and stuff that they bring to the table, and the reasons why they can't.
I
do
don't
something.
have any baggage.
Well, not you. No, you're clean. You're totally clean, man. But some of the people that you coach, I would imagine, we've all got stuff that we're going through, and I've always loved how consistent you've been in just being there for them, like having the door open and letting them contact you and walking them through not just the tactics, but also mentally, like the strategies of how to get over some of this stuff. Talk a little bit about like how you've developed that kind of relationship with the people, and the people that are your clients and your coach that you coach.
Yeah, well, I have a huge 2x4, and I just use it to smack them over the side of the head.
So easy that way, right? Like, God, it just makes, yeah. How do you do that virtually? Like, I feel like you could hire some people, and just send them like the Italian mob.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. Sorry, I just slay myself. The biggest thing that I found coaching people and talking to people, which I love doing, but what's really important, I think you hit the nail on the head, is there's really a difference between developing an overall strategy and developing tactics. Tactics to me are just the down and dirty, what are the tasks that you're going to do to achieve your goals. But the strategy really has to look at the overall person. And this is where I think a lot of people miss the boat, not only the mentor, but the mentee. And I think it's really important to get into people's lives, get into their psyches, get into their, not only their dreams and what they want to see happen, but what are their fears, what are their insecurities, what are their health issues. One of the things that you and I talked about recently, just offline, was about I'm coaching one person, again, who's just, God bless this woman. I love her to death. And I was coaching her for 2 months only to find out, and she's killing it. She's doing a great job, and she's a success as everybody outwardly would look at her. But she's not doing what she says that she wants to do. And then after 2 months, she failed to tell me that she's a manic depressive. And she's got medical issues, and this is something that I really did not know. And it really just drives home the point that we really have to get, when we're talking to people, and when you're talking to yourself and you're trying to figure out what's not working, figure out holistically what is keeping you from achieving your goals and your dreams. What is it? And it could be something medically, it could be something spiritually. A lot of times it could be something health-wise. You're not living a healthy lifestyle. But yeah, so you really have to be holistic when you're talking to people.
And what is for people that maybe have manic depressant issues, is it a situation where they can't find the energy to kind of do what it is that they want to do?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Or they know that they should be doing?
Well, it's like anything else. It's like if you're not healthy, or, God forbid you have a mental illness, or you're not healthy, or you're drinking every night and you're eating McDonald's every day. It's all related to your energy and your health, really. And so if you, excuse me, are doing anything that's not really going to prosper you, that's going to affect your energy and your health. And when you're feeling down, and listen, I get it. I've got down days myself too, and I'm always trying to figure out different ways to tweak things. But when you're feeling that way, you don't feel like making phone calls to prospects. You don't feel like, achieving your goals. It's like, F your goals. I want to just try to figure out how to get through this day.
Right.
Yeah. So, yeah. Absolutely.
And so, and what you're saying is kind of the way to get around that is to lead a healthier life, because when you do that, the energy comes, and then that energy gets exuded in the kinds of calls that you're making, in the kinds of like impressions that you're making, first impressions that you're making on people, etc.
Absolutely. If people don't get, and this is one thing I've learned a while back, if you don't get that your health is the number one priority in your life, that is key. Let me tell you, stuff starts to go wrong when you get older, so your health is super key, then your relationships, and then your business. But if you're not addressing your health, that means you're going to be absolutely useless for everything else. So you really got to be super cognizant. And again, to me, it's all about living a conscious lifestyle. So for your listeners out there, if you want to know how do you have better health, just try to be more conscious in terms of what you're doing. It's so easy for all of us that are, going 100 miles an hour all day long, and you reach for that burrito that's the size of your head, or
Right.
reach for a glass of wine or whatever it is. But if you could just take a pause before you do anything, before you eat or drink anything, and just try to be more conscious about what you're doing. There's a great article that Dr. Joe Dispenza, he's one of my mentors, and Joe Dispenza is he does a lot of meditations and stuff. And I love he just did a great article about one of the greatest ways to do this, and that is to lead a more conscious life, is to write down 2 or 3 behaviors that aren't working for you right now, things that you really want to change. Make those behavior changes as part of your meditation, your prayer, whatever it is that you want to do spiritually, but also put them on big placards around your room or whatever. Constantly remind yourself of all the behaviors that you want to be changing all the time. And just, again, try to be really conscious about it. And the more you consciously work on those behaviors, the easier it's going to be for you to, change that behavior. Like, for instance, last night, I really wanted cookies. And and I had to consciously say to myself, okay, I'm going to save the cookies for Saturday night. I'm not going to eat them tonight. So, it's just being conscious. That's really what it's all about.
What kind of cookies were they?
Does it matter, Josh?
Like homemade kind of cookies?
Oh, no. I've got no time for that nonsense. No. No, one of the things that's really sort of funny is when you start becoming a vegetarian, you start, because I used to be a very healthy drinker in my past life. And, it's interesting when you give stuff like that up and you give up a healthy lifestyle. God, I crave sugar all the time. So sugar is my new battle.
That's a tough one for people, because I get that too, especially if you're pushing hard every single day. I mean, mentally, you're exhausted, and you almost, you just crave it.
Well, and they say something like sugar is, well, I read one article that said sugar is the new cigarettes. But, everyone was quitting cigarettes 20 years ago. Now it's sugar. That it's like more addictive than heroin in some parts of your brain. Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Yeah, that is, man, because I'm the same way. So half the time, I just want to eat a pack of Oreos, like walk over to the gas station and grab it after like a really long day. And I have to actively tell myself not to do it and occupy myself so that I almost forget about it in a way.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, that's my problem, is that I have such an addictive personality that it's like, one Oreo is not enough. You might as well eat the whole package. One plate of pasta is not enough, so moderation control, portion control and moderation are 2 concepts that were totally lost on me when I was born.
Yeah. Well, and it's stuff that you've had to learn. And now do you do you help, the people that you coach, can they call you, right? Do they call you every once in a while and say, Chris, like, I want to eat these Oreos, but man, tell me not to, like, walk me through this.
I usually don't get that immediate feedback from my coaching clients. I would love for them to. And one of the things I wish they would do is, and this is one of the things I wish that all people, if you're working with a coach, please, coaches love to hear from you. And a lot of times people think that you're bothering them. I wish people would call me more. I tell them all the time, call me, text me, email me anytime that you want, because I think having that, it's a real symbiotic relationship, and anything that we as coaches and you as, mentees can do to, strengthen your life, because it's really just about developing habits and the routines, going back to the routines. And if we can help you with it, man, lean on us.
That's right. Because I would feel that way too. If, you would think, oh man, should I text this person? Nah, I'm totally going to bother them. They're not going to want to hear from me, kind of thing. And it's almost the exact opposite. It's like, you, as a coach, I would imagine sometimes it's actually lonely. You're not hearing from anybody, and you don't know. You spent all this time creating a program or a service or teaching people how to achieve some type of change in their life. And then you don't hear from anyone. And you're like, well, did it work? Did it not work? I'm not sure.
Right. And, I have people that are paying me money every single month, and they've joined the program. This is honest to God's truth. I have people paying every single month. They join the program. I have not had one call with them. I have not had one email exchange with them. And what they said is they wanted me just like an attorney on retainer. And so in case they have any questions, but God bless them. I love these guys that are, paying me all this money every single month, but not one call. And I beg these people, call me. Let me know what's going on. Let me know what you had for dinner, anything, But I think that everybody's different. I think that really sort of goes back to the whole nature of, you really got to take everybody. You can do your job. You can do such an amazing job of creating a coaching program and developing systems and templates that everybody should use. But the bottom line is you really have to look at everybody holistically, and everybody's different on how you're going to treat them.
I don't know, I'm just curious, as you're talking about those two different types of people, the ones that you just never hear from and the ones that you hear from often, if you can compare those two and the results that they get, who have you seen excel faster?
Oh, the ones that are contacting you all the time.
Yeah, that's what I would imagine. Like the ones that sort of go off the radar. One, you may not actually know that they're excelling because they just don't tell you. But two, yeah, like just to have you on retainer is nice, and it's almost a fallback, but it's not driving you to do anything.
Right. Well, and see, this is why it's so important in what you're doing. I love what you're doing with this Fire Builders program, is because it's the daily accountability, and it's the accountability every single day, whether you want to hear it or not. That is what's going to make you, improve. And if you know that you have to answer that email from Fire Builders, and you have to answer that phone call or that email from your coach, then it's going to make you think twice about changing your behavior and actually doing what you need to be doing. Go ahead.
Do you get on people on weekends as well? Like, I'm curious as to whether you're the kind of guy that is like, look, if we're going to do this, it's going to be 7 days a week. Like, there are no days off. Or do you give them like a day or two?
Once again, I have no time for that nonsense.
Yeah, I love it, man. Yeah, spoken like a true like that, because that's how change happens.
Yeah, Yeah, no. One of the things that I really try to get people in my program to do is to really to really work your tail off 5 days a week, Monday through Friday. The real estate, the nature of real estate, of course, you're going to be working. And, one of the things I think it's a kick to me, there's a lot of really successful real estate agents. I know one listing agent who's, he's on a real popular television program right now, and he prides himself by saying that he's available to his clients 24/7. I'm like, F that. I said, if you're available to your clients 24/7, what's the point of having a life? You got to have some time off. And so, yeah, I, as a matter of a rule, take at least 1 day off where I'm totally off the grid, off email, phone, and everything else. And I encourage my coaching clients to do the same thing. So it's really important. So what that means, it's really important for that 5 days a week, that Monday through Friday, is that you're really on. And I wanted to mention one other thing. I think it's really important going back to the routine, because I just think to develop the consistency, one of the things that I wanted to get in here is that it's really important for us to have minimum standards for ourselves. And minimum standards are really something that are so easy and so small, something that you can do almost any with your eyes closed. And it's like I joke with my coaching clients, and that is, what is your minimum standard that you could do? For instance, calling, doing prospecting, trying to find new business. Could you call 2 people every morning? That's it. Just call 2 people every single morning. Whether your dog dies, your wife leaves you, your house burns down, you know that every single day, Monday through Friday, you can call those 2 people. And so I think developing minimum standards in every single area of your life is a really easy way for you to develop those routines, because what it does for you, Josh, is not only does you start doing what you're supposed to be doing, but you develop more confidence and you get more comfortable doing it, and you're going to want to do it more. So minimum standards for everybody is super key.
I love that. I have a question about that, but let me throw this up too, because I think that Lyndon's still on, and I want to get to her question. She asked, Chris, I am curious, do you curate clients or have a vetting process to work with a mentee? Like, how do these people find you, and what are your, like minimum standards for wanting to work with somebody?
With my coaching program, what I do, I don't have a formal vetting process. What I do is I try to get some commitment from them. I get some commitment that they're going to change, that they're going to contact me on a periodic basis. But for me, it's intuitive for me when I get on that phone and I have that initial consultation call. To answer your question, though, I do a lot of marketing on LinkedIn. I do other marketing to reach out to other real estate agents. But they have to want to make a change, and that's the only thing that I request. They have to want to make a change, either personally or in their production with their real estate business.
Do people, I would imagine that if you were to ask people, hey, do you want to make a change? They're going to say yes. But it's not about, that, and that just demonstrates their intention to make a change. But the integrity about making a change, the actual proving of the change, do you have them, like, can you find that out? You sort of see that in the first 2 weeks or so?
Well, actually, that's a really good question. And going back to what I said earlier, I think it's really important when I first have that conversation is to find out why they're not changing. So that's one of my questions I always ask them. If you want to do 100 transactions, you want to sell 100 homes in a year, or you want to make $500,000 in a year, why are you not doing that right now? What's stopping you? And so I'm getting a lot better at doing that, because, getting back to that whole holistic approach, 2-3 years ago, I never did that. But now I'm sort of getting into, their why. Why are they not doing what they really want to be doing? And then getting sort of like into the health, obviously mental illness, your health, all that kind of stuff. Is there something stopping you? And I've had all kinds of really great reasons and excuses. But I will tell people, and I have no compunction. I says, that's fine. You want to pay me this money every single month. We can sit in and talk about your lifestyle, but I really want to see you make changes. And if you're not going to make changes and commit to that, then it's really a total waste of my time. And it's a total waste of your money.
Yeah, exactly. And like, do you at first then define those minimum standards for everybody? So for instance, is that how the conversation starts? Because one thing that I like to ask people that we kind of started with, and then we kind of rounded around into it again, is suggesting that people do one thing. If maybe you want to, either you're an entrepreneur and you want to improve your situation, get a little bit faster from point A to point B, or you're a coach and you're helping people do that, and you're kind of doing, as a coach, like, I feel like coaches are always sort of doing that for themselves anyway. They're always trying to improve themselves. So in your experience, is that one thing that people should do every day, essentially the minimum standard?
Yes, absolutely. And I don't tell people to do that. I get them to tell me. So based on what they want to do, for instance, if they want to sell 100 homes a day, how are you going to do that? What is it you're not doing? And you know what? The truth of the matter is you have somebody that really wants to hire a coach. That means they're willing, right? Chances are they know what they need to do. If you're an entrepreneur, you're in business, you have an idea of who you need to reach out to people. You need to do some marketing. In real estate, you need to find sellers, okay? And so one of the first things that I recommend people to do is to call their sphere of influence, to call people that they know. But there's 18 different things, different ways that you can market and try to find listings and houses for sale. I get them to tell me what is it they want to do. Most people that are pretty fairly intelligent know what they need to do. It's really a question of just trying to get them to do it. So the one thing that I would suggest people to do right away is develop a minimum standard in that one area that you know you need to do. If you're supposed to be calling people that you know, or you're supposed to be calling expired listings or probate attorneys or FSBOs, for sale by owners, create a minimum standard around that. And that's the one thing I would tell them to do is, and make that minimum standard so easy that you could fall off in something and do it. And,
yeah.
And then, because again, I can't tell you how the confidence that boosts and the motivation and how it incents you. It's really amazing.
And I would imagine that the easier you make that minimum standard, and maybe it's not too easy where it's like, you do it and it doesn't make that big of a dent, but it's like somewhere in the middle, right? Like,
oh gosh, no.
Really?
So easy.
Like dead easy.
It's got to be so easy, because it's got to be like, oh, I'm going to call 2 people. This is so easy. I can do that every single day blindfolded, because again, one of the things that you want to do is you want to sort of circumvent the amygdala in the back of your brain. That's the fight or flight thing. And if I told somebody, okay, your minimum standard is to call 10 people every single morning and ask them for referrals, people are going to go, I can't do that.
Wait, I'm sorry. For anybody that missed that, what was it again? How did they go?
But if you tell people they only got to call 1 person or 2 people every single day, I mean, that is where you're going to, the kernel of confidence and incentive and motivation, that's where it's all going to come from. So yeah, your minimum standards have to be really slow, because routine, habit, all that good stuff, every 21 days creates a new habit. And so if you do that for 21 days, and guess what? You start calling 1 or 2 people a day, just naturally people are going to start calling more, because again, you're going to get more confident, more comfortable doing it.
And I would imagine that it's like it's a slippery slope in a good way. So you do that thing first thing in the morning, that real easy thing, and then it just gets the flywheel turning, and it's much easier to do the next easy thing and the next easy thing, and then all of a sudden,
that's it. I mean, it's the easiest thing to do. It's like me, one of the things, I'm a big swimmer, so I swim every single morning. Used to, until all the pools in San Francisco were closed. So I had to pivot, right? And so I decided that I'm going to do push-ups. This is like, I've never done a push-up in my life. I'm 60 years old, because I can do this at home, right? I started off doing 2 push-ups every single morning. I said, I know I can do 2 push-ups, and that was about 2 months ago, and now I'm up to 30.
Hell yeah, man! That is awesome.
And no, I'm not going to show you my chest.
Well, I was going to say, are you graduating to new other exercises too? Like you do the push-ups and then because I'm thinking swimming's a full body thing.
Yeah, I know. As soon as I can go back to it, I love, because I blew out my knees running, so I love swimming for that reason. But yeah, I've been doing a lot of walking and yoga.
Yeah.
Which I never did before. So now I'm walking 5 miles every morning.
Yep. Man, they have this thing called Broga here. It's a crazy name, I know, but
but it's in yoga.
It's like Broga, like what's up, bro? But yoga, right? At least I think that's what I think anyway. But a really great guy, Sean, he runs it. It's right across the street, and it is, man, you would love it. It is, it's exactly those things. It's like a lot of push-ups and strength training, but also yoga combined into one. It's incredible, man.
That's great. That's great. Yeah. Check it out.
Yeah. So anyway, so doing that one thing. So I like to have a follow-up question to this, because if it really is a minimum standard, you do something small every single day, right? Have people made massive strides in their life in, say, 30 days under your tutelage, under this coaching philosophy? What have you seen? What's the experience that you've had?
Well, the thing that's given me the greatest joy is I've had people pretty much 10x their business, make 10 times the money that they were making, getting 10 times the listings, but also dramatically change the relationships with their families and change the relationships they have with themselves with regard to their health. And so, all those things are really super important. I just, I don't care if somebody 10x's their listings or their sales or whatever it is. What's important to me, if they make any change about it, and that is what excites them, then I'm down. And that's what I just derive so much joy from, Josh. And again, just like anything else, somebody makes a small change, that leads to momentum, and it leads to greater and bigger things. So,
I love it. All right.
Is that a rooster in the back?
It is actually. They are all over Key West. I'm pretty sure that's Elvis. People that watch the show know Elvis. He's a troublemaker around here. It's this rooster is always going around.
I love it.
So if people have more questions, if they want to reach out to you, they want to find out a little bit more about what you're doing. Tell me a little bit about what you got going on these days and how people can connect with you.
Absolutely. The best thing to do is go to my website, which is theagentunleashed.com. Hit me up at theagentunleashed.com. And anybody that contacts me off my website, I'll send them a book that I wrote called Massive Abundance, How to Create Passion, Purpose, and Prosperity in Your Life. And I'll send that to them for free. But that's probably the best way.
That is awesome and very generous as well. Like,
but don't go on the internet and Google Chris Stafford and look at old pictures of me. Don't do that.
You heard it here first, guys. Seriously, follow Chris's advice and his instruction. Go to theagentunleashed.com. Get your book. Honestly, dude, I have watched the effect that you've had on people for the last, 2 years? I mean, we've known each other now for 2 years at least.
That sounds right.
Yeah. And just, it's been so impressive. I'm so honored to have you on the show today. I know that you're a really busy guy, so I just want to say thanks again. And honestly, man, is there anything that you can think of right now that you would like to leave the listening audience with, some parting words of wisdom that they can take from this, from old Chris Stafford? What would you say?
Well, don't take any wooden nickels. How's that? Develop your own minimum standards and use that Fire Builders program, because it's the greatest thing I've used in sliced bread. So there.
Dude, well, that's very nice of you to say, and thank you. And I really appreciate it. And man, this has just been awesome.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, it has. And by the way, it's almost 45 minutes have gone by. So it just goes by when you have good conversations with people,
Absolutely. It was a lot of fun. I mean, I really appreciate it, Josh. You're the best.
Yeah, absolutely. So we got, and just so that you know, we got Perry saying, love Chris's energy. Guess who stopped by but Kate Shell, two awesome guys.
Sakes. Kate Shell and oh my God.
Yep, she's on there. So anyway, so you got some Chris Stafford fans happening here, and I'll tell you
anything bad about Kate.
She's amazing. Kate's awesome. Another person that just is remarkably consistent. You know?
Absolutely.
So anyway, well, guys, this is Josh and Chris signing off. Another episode of Fire Builders Live. Chris, thanks again, man.
Absolutely, man.
All right. Well, we will catch you guys on another episode. We stream live Monday through Saturday, 12 p.m. Eastern. Catch us for another episode, and we will see you guys later. Chris, adios.
Thank you, sir.